Hello children, today you are going to study the past from the history part 1. What is the learning objective for this topic? You are going to learn about what is history, why do we study the past, dates in history and time frame in history. Children, you will now be studying history as a subject. In class 6, you will study Indian history from the earliest times to the present. Read on to develop an understanding of the subject, the significance of the history in our day-to-day life, and to know the interconnections between the past and the present. The word history is derived from the Greek word historia, which means enquiry or investigation into the past. History is the past record of people, places, events. The order of arranging the events that happened first, followed by events that happened later, is called chronology. History allows us a chance to understand how people lived, dressed, ate, and functioned many years ago. History is not just about the kings and heroes. It is about humankind and its growth. It helps us to know how, why, when, and where things happened. It helps us to learn lessons from the past. Thus, makes us our future better. You might feel like asking sometimes, what is history and why should we study it at all? Will it not be interesting to know how your grandparents lived many years ago when they were young? Yes or no, children? So, it is the history that helps us in getting answers to many such questions and finding out what happened in the past. Let us see how to study the past. Time frame of history. History is generally divided into 3 time periods. What are those? Prehistory, proto-history and history. Let us see one after another in detail. The first one is prehistory. The prehistoric period is the time when writing had not been invented and no records are found. No written records were found, and knowledge of prehistory is based entirely on archaeology. And what is the meaning of archaeology? It is a systematic study of past human life and culture by the recovery and examination of remaining material evidences such as graves, buildings, tools and pottery. Based on this, you will get the information. Prehistory, it is the time before writing was invented. Some of these pictures of prehistory for your reference, children. Proto-history. The proto-historic period is the time for which we have written records. However, they are very few and still cannot be read. Archaeological sources are the main sources of information of this period also. For example, Indus Valley Civilization. In India, the first developed cities were found in the valley of river Indus. So, it was named as Indus Valley Civilization. It is also called as the Harappan Civilization, as Harappa was the first site of this civilization to be excavated. So, you will be knowing more about Indus Valley Civilization in the upcoming lessons. Next is history. The time period after the invention of writing is known as history. Early writing was done on rocks, pillars, copper plates, clay tablets, palm leaves and on the barks of beech trees. rich sources of information, all this. Here are some of the example pictures of the earlier civilization, children. Refer. Date in history. In the study of history, the years before the birth of Jesus Christ are written as BC. BCE means before Common Era. The years expressed in BCE are counted backwards. Example, 100 BCE comes before 99 BCE. CE, Common Era or AD, Anno Domini. The years expressed in CE are counted forwards. Example, 99 CE comes before 100 CE. But at present, the term CE is used in the place of AD and BCE is used in the place of BC. Refer this picture, children. This, BC and BCE means counted backward, AD and CE counted forward. And you can also click on this link which I have mentioned here for the YouTube explanation about BCE and AD. Geographical framework. Geographical factors play an important role in shaping the history of a country or a region. A large country like India has diverse geographical features. The Himalaya mountains in the north act as a natural barrier between India and Central Asia. The passes in these mountains have acted as routes of contact since ancient times. Here, passes means a mountain pass is a route through a mountain range or over a ridge. The Indus and the Ganga plains are very fertile regions. These river valleys were areas where people settled first. The river provided sufficient water for all their needs. The land near the river was very fertile. People could grow crops easily. The river served as means of transport. On the other hand, areas where the environment is favorable are densely populated. Let us recapitulate whatever you have learned. You have learned that the history is the study of past. It is divided into prehistory, means no records were available; proto-history, very few written records were available; history, written records available in plenty. And also, the history of India is influenced by its geography. The first civilization emerged in the fertile valley of river Indus. You can click on this link which I have given here, mentioned here, children, and go through the video as a recapitulation. Based on the topic you have learnt in this part 1, I have prepared a simple task sheet 1, children. I will read out the questions for you. Answer these questions, fill in the blanks in your classwork last pages. Write complete answers along with the blank and answer you write in the classwork last pages. Let me read out the questions for you. The first, fill in the blank. History is generally divided into dash time periods. The second one, the Indus Valley civilization is an example of dash history. The third one, dash is the study of past. Dash period is the time for which we have written records. The word history comes from the Greek word dash, which means what. So write these answers and check your answers in the next slide. Yeah children, let me read out the task sheet 1 answers for you. The first one, history is generally divided into 3 parts: prehistory, proto-history and history. The second one, the Indus Valley civilization is an example of proto-history. And third question what I gave, dash is the study of past. History, right? History is the study of past. Fourth one, dash period is the time for which we have written records. History again. We have a plenty of written records. Fifth one, the word history comes from the Greek word historia, which means learning or knowing by enquiry. Very good children, well done. Let us see the task. Next is the task sheet 2. Here is the task sheet 2 children. Here I gave some questions. Let me read out the first question. Why do we need to study the past? Second, how have the Himalayas helped in shaping the history of India? Write the full form of BC and CE. Very simple questions. These are question and answers also in the classwork last pages. You write and refer the answers in the next slide. Let us check task sheet 2 answers children. The first answer, the study of the past is important to understand the present. Since history is a continuous story of one event learning to another, the present cannot be understood without understanding the past. The next question what I gave, how have the Himalayas helped in shaping the history of India, right? Let us check your answer what you wrote. Himalayan mountains in the north act as a natural barrier between India and Central Asia. The passes in these mountains have acted as routes of contact since ancient time. People, soldiers, merchants, traders, travelers, scholars and others have often crossed these passes and travelled from one place to another. Yes, got your answer? Next, the last question, write the full form of BCE and CE. BCE before common era and CE common era. Well done children. All the best.